What's a common myth about health, nutrition, or fitness that you've learned is actually false? I thought black people, me, didn't need sunscreen because melanin protects us against the sun. Evidently, that's not entirely true. Told a workmate from the UK who was traveling to NZU she best get some good sunscreen. She didn't listen because she had never been burnt before. Black plus it's the UK. I did try to explain it didn't matter that she was black. NZ's sun will you up. She came back and sheepishly told me she got badly burnt with blisters after spending all day at a beach. Babe, I tried to tell ya. She also then had to buy New Zealand sunscreen, which is about 3 times the price. Yep, black guy from Montreal came for an install, went for a walk at lunch assuring us he didn't burn, had to call in sick. Don't f with Aus NZ's son. Potatoes are actually nutrient dense, not just starch. Edit. The myth is that taters are just starch. Assuming you had good nutrition at the starting point, you could survive off of just potatoes for several months before developing any deficiencies. Most of the stuff, vitamins and minerals that we need on a frequent basis, are in potatoes. Slightly off topic, but people haven't learned the recent news that we now believe we know what the appendix does. It's a backup storage for gut bacteria so it can help replenish itself, like after antibiotics. There have also been studies that removal of the appendix when you're younger can lower the risk or delay onset of Parkinson. The protein that contributes to its development likes to live in the appendix, so it's gone, it won't bioaccumulate. This is really early studies, nothing concrete yet, but when I had mine out in my mid-20s, my surgeon and me geeked out over the studies in my post-op appointment that you can target fat by doing specific workouts. You can't. You can build muscle by doing specific workouts, but your body will burn fat from where it wants, not in that one area. Luckily, it's made weeding out the workout frauds much easier. That heart disease is essentially a one-way trip. You can absolutely reverse arterial plaque buildup with the right diet and a bit of exercise. Semi-related, that you only need 21 days to develop a habit. I see so many people giving up on exercise routines because they didn't develop it within a month, so they just assume that it wasn't right for them. This is one of those pop psychology things where someone misinterpreted and completely simplified a study that was not even related to habits, then made a whole bunch of money off of it, and now everyone thinks that you should be able to develop habits in 21 days or something is wrong with you. Lifting weights to get bigger and stronger doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the most effective workout plans and routines are quite boring after a while. This idea that every session needs to be different or changed up for variety or target a very specific area of muscle growth is ultimately more trouble than it's worth. There's a reason 5x5 as a routine has been around forever. It's simple, boring, but effective. The hardest part is making it a consistent activity. Edit to add, well, this blew up. Okay, boring may not have been the best word for all you people hung up on semantics. Repetitive is the better word. And doing the same workout and working toward progressive overload can feel repetitive, and at times, when you don't feel like working out, it can get boring. Moral of the story, simplicity and consistency are your friends. The end. Have fun. Yeah, people get confused by the idea of progressive overload. They heard if you don't mix it up, you won't get results, not realizing upping weight rep count counts as progressive overload. It doesn't mean you have to always be doing different things, just challenging yourself at your current strength. Natural means nothing. It's a logical fallacy. Arsenic is natural, mercury is natural, lots of natural things are toxic. Stop trying to convince me that something is good because it's natural. Oh, and that goes triple for chemicals that are used. Natural doesn't mean it's better. I recently read how a winery was using a natural herbicide. It's a lot more toxic than the artificial ones. They were poisoning people. When you shave your hair, doesn't grow back faster, longer, or darker. It's just all growing back at the same time so it can look more full. If it did work like that, every bald man ever would shave their hard every day. I tried to tell my dad that and called me a liar. I said if it really did work like that, then he'd actually be able to grow a beard. Suddenly, he really wasn't interested in arguing with me anymore. That you need to do a cleanse to get rid of toxins. Our liver and kidney clear out what's not necessary unnecessary. Cleanses are a scam. Eat fat, get fat. Fat is actually important in your diet. The problem is that fat is very calorie dense and delicious. If you're not paying attention to how much fat you eat, it's super easy to overdo it. That poster of the food pyramid that was in every classroom growing up, yes, that thing was drilled into my brain as the correct diet. Now I know it's lobbyists from each industry who created it. Women just need cardio. Wrong. Women need resistance strength training even more than men because of bone density issues at menopause, and resistance training is the primary means of increasing bone density. But I don't want to get too big and muscular, girly please. If it were that easy, every man would look like Schwarzenegger in his prime. You don't even have those hormones, let alone those steroids. The number of women I've had this conversation with, you can do everything right. Illness, disease, and old age will still happen. As a healthy eater, cyanide daily exerciser with stage 4 cancer, I agree, but old age is not a given. That fitness influencers look like that because they work hard. The majority of them are on steroids. The difference can be harder to tell than most people realize, but a good clue is how long it took them to get there. If you've been lifting in cycling gear for 2 years, you can look like the natty guy who's been lifting 10 years. All those actors who blew up for a role? On gear. That exercising lots is the best way to lose weight. In reality, diet ends up being more important, and high-impact exercise can often make weight loss harder as it makes you hungrier. As an active person who would be happier with 10 less pounds, it is such a struggle to not eat everything after a long hike or bike ride. Convincing my body I'm a weekend warrior and not training daily for an Ironman is a struggle. Ask your doctor how to properly take vitamins and supplements. Some do nothing, others need to be taken with foods to get absorbed. My wife is a registered dietitian. I would ask one of them before a doctor. Most doctors haven't touched a food nutrition course since their undergrad. Walking is pretty close to jogging in terms of calories burnt at it. I phrase this terribly. The myth is that jogging burns more calories than walking, when in reality they burn very similar amounts when measuring by distance covered. Per mile? Yes. Not per unit of time. Eggs raise cholesterol. They're actually packed with nutrients and healthy fats that are good for overall health. Honestly, this is why nutrition and diets are so confusing to people. I swear we change our collective minds on whether eggs are healthy for you every 10 years or so. Autism isn't more prevalent these days due to vaccines, it's because we learned more about it and are actually diagnosing people rather than burning them or throwing them into an asylum. Yes, and we're learning so much in retrospect about our weird older family members. Thanks for watching. Share the video with a friend. Like it if you like the video. Bye.